Hey guys, if y'all have been following my stream lately, you will probably know that I've been really hyped up about my Shadowhunter. And I truly think that they are either going to A, continue buffing DI Shadowhunter and transform classes, for quite a while, or B, at some point, think about reworking that class completely, the transform archetype. And because of this, there have been quite a few conversations in my stream about the transform class and kind of the 2 gem class archetype. And a lot of people are like, look, I really don't think that the 2 gem classes are ever going to be that strong. They're always going to be mid tier at the most because of the fact that they are a 2 gem class and you don't need to invest that much into them to get them to their ceiling. And while I think it is true that you don't need to invest as much into the class for the end game, I think that the 2 gem class argument is quite old and doesn't really make sense anymore because we have classes like Sura Breaker, we have classes like Surge Deathblade, we have classes like Artillerist, right? And I think that this is a pretty old argument, as well as the fact that some people are saying that, look, it's also a lower effort gameplay type of class, right? Classes that take higher effort should be rewarded more, which I agree. But that's definitely not the case in Lost Ark. So the clip I'm about to show you is going into that discussion in depth and why I think the way that I do. So guys, if you have never checked out my stream before, we do these conversations all the time. So head on over to twitch.tv/MisoXShiru. I stream every single night starting at 10 p.m. PST. So hopefully I see you guys there. But if not, hopefully I'll see y'all in the next video. All right, guys, enjoy the clip. If Transform class did A tier damage 2 gems, 0 tripods, will that be kind of unfair? I don't think so. One, tripods are really easy to get these days. And two, if you're talking about 2 gem classes, right? This is basically this class is basically a 1 gem class. Deathblade is basically a 1 gem class. Artillerist is a 1 gem class. And you might be like, well, they need other gems, right? But the thing is, right now, my breaker, other than 1 gem, which I put on there because I had an extra level 9 damage gem, I put 1 level 10 damage gem on this class, which is Rasura. And I paid 0 for all of these other gems. But yet, it still outclasses a Shadowhunter, which has 2 level 10 gems. I literally only need 1 level 10 gem on this class, like this, and put this as an event gem, right? And it will outclass any Shadowhunter any day of the week. Same with Deathblade. Same with Artillerist. Outclass the GS with level 7, level 10 gems. They won't rework transformation classes. I think, again, maybe it's Copium, maybe it's Castle Copium, but I do think that it is a possibility. Are all classes be reworked at the Third Awakening? Kind of, I guess. Like, Third Awakening might make it so that these classes are OP too, without any sort of major rework. Or not OP, but very strong. But I do think that the direction that they've been going with the transform classes is very reminiscent of Reaper, which is why I think that the class is going to be somehow in whatever way, be like buff / rework very soon. I don't know if they rework them, will make it full gems. Maybe. I don't know. But I do think that the old, it's a 2 gem class, it should do less damage than the rest of the classes, right? Is kind of an older argument because of this. Again, if the class did the same exact damage as my Sura Breaker with this setup, with 2 10s, I wouldn't complain. I mean, I'm not complaining right now, but I think that would be fair. But the fact that it doesn't do that makes me, again, say that the old 2 gem class should do less damage is old. I think that the ceiling for these classes should be the same, it should be higher for sure. But I think that if, again, we had this setup, I think that the 2 classes should do similar damage. Shadowhunter easier than Sura, Sura or DB, no, risk comes with reward. I mean, you could say that, but most classes in the game don't work that way. A lot of classes in the game don't work that way. Like, effort doesn't equal damage. If effort equals damage, EO would be the #1 class in the game. Arcanons would be the #1 classes in the game, right? So I don't think that that is an argument as well. I think it should be that way, but it isn't that way. It kind of is that they're so rare. You also ever see them. I mean, you don't ever see them, but I don't think you can say. I think if you ask any like player in Korea, for example, right, which class does more damage, I would say that they're still going to say Igniter Sork, Surge Deathblade, Breaker are going to be at the top. Arcana's up there. I mean, it's not that they're not up there, but if you're going to say that effort should equal damage, then those classes should be at the top. But we know that those classes are not number one classes. Number one, number two, number three classes, right? They're fine. They're like probably top 10, maybe. But they're not number one, number two, number three classes, which is the difficulty of those classes, in my opinion. I think Arcana, the two Arcanas, and Eosulfus are probably the hardest to play classes in the game. Yeah, again, Gunslinger as well. They're pretty relatively hard class to play, right? But they're not that strong. They have Dogu in Korea. I mean, then we can look at numbers, right? We can look at numbers. It's easy. We can go look at our numbers here in N8 and with data, right? Again, let's go to 400 seconds. I like doing 400 seconds for my duration. Let's do normal, right? We can look at normal and hard. Normal. Where is an energy overflow? Oh, sorry. Energy overflow. It's down here. And then we could even look at ceiling, right? We can go. It was like, oh, okay. We don't want to look at median. Let's look upper, right? Reasonable ceiling. Energy overflow. It's like down here. Now we can have like some crazy outliers like this, but even this outlier doesn't match the outliers of like the other classes. It's normal. Yeah, we can go to hard. It's the same thing, right? Again, the class is not weak by any means, but it's still not as strong as these classes. And I would say this class is definitely way harder than these classes. Yeah, the game just doesn't work that way. We can't really. And again, I wish it worked that way, where the game was the harder classes did more damage, but it doesn't work that way. So that's why we can't have the argument, oh, you know, well, this class is easier to play than this class, so this class should do more damage. Like that's not an argument.